Hi, Sandra here from Creating Spain, and today I have in front of me the pieces I need to make a new home card. Now I have a rather strange looking piece here. This is my front panel, which I airbrushed and dried with my heat gun, and you notice I have this strange looking dark splodge. That's because my plan is to put a little house on there and the door of the house opens. Now what I forgot, of course, is that I had actually made a blank to go underneath the original front piece, like so. So I didn't need to put those dark colours on there. I've got a card base, and so let's start on this one. This needs to be relatively dark, but I've decided not to go with black. I decided to go with a dark blue colour. So I just need to put some dark blue basically down the middle of this. It doesn't need to be from side to side, but just about down there. Place that like so, and then that will have plenty of time to actually dry. Okay, so I now know where my house is, and I can choose where I want to put my fence. In this particular case, I think I'm going to have it going over to one side. But what I also wanted to do was to put some grass and things around. So you can either do that with markers, or you can do it with watercolours or other paints, whatever you fancy. So I now want to concentrate on getting the colouring of my house front done. Now I've made it so that the door actually opens, and so I have another door to actually stick on here, so it doesn't matter if I colour over the door area or whatever. And then at some point that will be stuck on the front. So that can go on there now. Careful not to stick the door down, of course, because that would defeat the object of having one that is cut open. And place on there. Afterwards. So we have that there. And we have our little picket fence to put in. And I think I actually want to heat emboss the picket fence. Okay, so I've heat embossed the fence with white embossing powder. Because it's got embossing powder stuck on the back of it as well, I think I'm going to use a silicone glue, because I think that will probably stick it better. So I've done that. I've also put some clear embossing on the red door. And to be sensible, I will colour the back of the door as well, which I forgot may be seen on the finished card. I've now got a little white window frame to stick on. Glue. Let's check that's coming out yet. Very tiny piece to grab hold of, so I use tweezers and line it up with the actual window like So they are so tiny, some of these, that they are not going to get more than one colour applied. There we go. And I'm going to put these in random places. There we go, that's that bit. Now I have some hearts that I cut out, and thought I would use on here. So I need to colour in those as well. And I'll come back when those are coloured. Okay, so I've coloured in my 3 hearts in shades of pink, and I've put some white dots on just for a bit of fun. And what I want to do now is actually apply a sentiment. Now I'm going to use a Sakura Quickie glue pen to do some writing on here, and then I'm going to emboss it with gold embossing powder. And take my gold embossing powder, and I've just realised that what I haven't done on that is put a load of powder on it to stop it from sticking where I don't want it. So I'm going to be really annoyed if it sticks to somewhere I don't want. I think I got away with it. Now you notice that this looks a little gold anyway. It looks like I've wrecked it, but that's because this has gold Pearl-Ex in it, and that would make a big difference. So I'm just going to take a dry brush, if I can find one, and brush off any excess powder that I can see. I think that will just about it. Let it cool off. And then once it's cooled, I can actually take the rest of this gold powder off. The gold powder, that which is the Pearl-Ex, won't stick to anything that hasn't actually been made sticky. So that should actually brush off, and it is brushing off quite nicely. Phew, thank heavens for that. I'm always forgetting to do the anti-static bits. It's terrible. Right, and in my haste I dropped my spoon in my embossing powder, and now I've put it where I don't want it to go. Over one of my hearts, which I didn't want gold embossed. Yes, that's the trouble with embossing powder, it goes everywhere really, really easily. Dear, right. Okay, so I've done that bit, but I will get my anti-static powder, if I can find it, and go over the other part of the card, because I want to put some little gold strings in for these. Well, they're not balloons, but similar, you know what I mean. So put some anti-static powder there just to be on the safe side, because I know what it's like to happen. Right, so take my pen and just do some lines like so, just to indicate some strings, and pile on the embossing powder. Put that to one side, tap it over my bin. Now the trouble is I can't actually do it directly on this mat because that's not a heat proof mat, so I have to do it up in the air. Right, now these I want to position up here. I think that will do quite nicely. But I want to actually raise some of them up, and in fact I want to raise some of them up slightly more than others. So this big one on the back, just put some silicone glue on there before I put it down. That's if I can get it out of the bottle. Come on. Ugh, squeeze. There we are. I've got to be careful because I don't think my little dots are dry yet. So I'm being careful not to touch those. There we go. Okay, that one goes there. Now this one, I've got some little self-adhesive foam pads that I made simply by using draft excluder foam, which already had one side sticky, putting that through a hole punch, and then it's relatively simple to take off one of the sticky sides, put it onto the back that I want, and then a little drop of glue on there, and I can stick it where I want it to go. There we go, that's that one. I need to let this dry before I can put this front onto my card base. So this is the finished card, and what I've done to complete it is I drew some little gold hearts coming out of the chimney, and I added a little gold doorknob and some little white spots. I'm not sure if you can see the little white spots, but I added those with a Signo white pen, the same as the ones which are on the hearts there. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed the card. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and I'll see you again soon.